時ほどカモンボーイ笑おうぜそうさ勇気がすぐ戻る男だもんな
Hey there kids, welcome back. David from Atomic Candy, and right now I am open by chance, and what I'm opening up with for you here today is another rare oddball from Bandai. And yes, even though this looks like a counterfeit toy, it is an actual legitimate Bandai toy, a vintage one from 1985, way back in 1985. What you're looking at is a Space Sheriff Juspion action figure set. Space Sheriff Juspion, who is that character right there in the white. And as a matter of fact, that's a picture of him up top on the right side, Sheriff Juspion. And then the villain, Satan Gorth. And on the sides, you've got their two mechas, because you can't have a Japanese live-action television show in the 80s without a gigantic robot to get into, although those robots are not exactly scaled to the action figures. Now, the figures themselves are about 4.5 inches tall, and then the reproductions of the mechas there are about 6 inches tall. And those pictures that you see up on the top are not actually pictures, they are trading cards. There should be 4 or 5 trading cards in each slot, so a total of 8 or 10. And they're just little tiny cards. That's about as big as the card is. There's nothing else to it. And on the back of the cards, it's blank. It's just cardboard. You won't find anything there. Rare to find these with the cards. Rare to find these sets at all. When you see these kind of Bandai sets in this type of a box, you don't find them anymore. Usually you find these loose, not still packaged. We'll take a good look at the back of the box here. Very difficult to find these in the packaging. And as this is not sealed, by the way, I will slide the tray out so that you can get a better look at the action figures. Now, Sheriff Juspion only lasted for a single season back in '95. He ran in Japan. Look, somebody had a price tag of $19.95 on that once. I wonder how old that price tag is. But only ran for a single season. In, I think it was March of 1985 to March of 1986. That's how long this show was on the air in Japan. 46 episodes, if I'm not mistaken. 46 crazy episodes. You should look up Sheriff Juspion on YouTube and see if you can find a couple of episodes. Absolutely insane. Really funny, cheesy special effects. The precursor, shows like this, by the way, are the precursor for franchises that you all know and love, like Power Rangers. I mean, it looks almost like Power Rangers, but of course, arguably Power Rangers looks like Sheriff Juspion because this was first. Very crazy, funny show to watch. Even if you can't find an English translation, just watching what's going on is hilarious. I love those kind of cheesy, funny, quirky shows. Now, let's go ahead and slide this out of the package, and we'll take a closer look at what these figures actually look like. And here we are again. Here is our 4 Sheriff Juspion figures, and it's hard to even call them figures. They're not really action figures. If you're familiar with how Japan used to make these, and frankly still makes a lot of these figures, there's almost no jointing to them whatsoever. These figures are very likely going to be exactly formatted the way that you would find vintage and even a lot of modern Ultraman figures, and that is with 3 points of articulation, jointed at the shoulders and at the waist only. And they're also typically just blown plastic molds. Very thin, very, very cheap construction, which is another reason why it's so hard to find these loose even, let alone with the packaging at all. So you've got Juspion, the Space Sheriff, which the proper title is actually Kyoju Tokuso Juspion, which translates to Special Mega Beast Investigator Juspion, or Space Wolf Juspion. I don't know how they get Space Wolf out of Special Mega Beast Investigator, but it's Japan, folks. What do you want me to tell you? Juspion itself is a mashup of two words, and it means Justice Champion. Justice Champion. And of course, that is Satan Gorth, the villain, who is like the total antigen to Juspion. I mean, they're fairly evenly matched, actually. And then, of course, they're mechas. I like how his gets a skirt. And Juspion's mecha. Again, not to scale to the action figures. This show was actually more popular in Brazil than it was in Japan. Let me just go ahead and turn that around there so that we can take a look at the back of the figures. In 1988, it was broadcast in Brazil, and they loved the show. So they didn't even bother to paint the backs of these. They just cut those corners everywhere they could. They saved those pennies, folks. Very indigenous to the way that a lot of Japanese toys were made. But because of that, once again, they are very, very difficult to find in any kind of halfway decent condition. But once again, in 1988, Brazil got a hold of it, and they loved it. They love that kind of quirky Japanese stuff south of the border. So much so that there's actually a plan in the works for a remake of Juspion in 2020, I believe, is when it's supposed to be released in Brazil. So they're the ones working on it. They're doing a film, from what I understand. So Sheriff Juspion flies around the universe in a ship. He has a ship and a motorcycle and then a mecha. And there's other characters as well. I'm not going to go through all of them. It's too much. Too much to remember. There's a lot of people in the show, actually. I think the ship's name was the Dalion. Dalion? Am I pronouncing that right? I don't remember. He flies around the universe in this really cheesy, cheaply superimposed ship with really crappy special effects. It's hilarious. You got to see it. And I'm not ranking on the show, believe me. I love it. It is hilarious. I love those kind of weird, quirky Japanese productions that they used to do. I'm a huge Godzilla fan. I'm a huge Gamera fan. I love that cheesiness factor, actually. I get a big kick out of it. I watched a lot of it when I was a kid, and I still have a spot in my heart for it, including these. Now, these figures were made by Bandai, of course. And like I said, even though they look counterfeit, they are official Bandai. And I think the word Bandai is the only thing in English on that whole package. The inner tray is just a blow mold, very thin and brittle. There's no cracks or splits or anything in it, but it's not uncommon for them to crack and split. And again, these figures are, it's just like a hollow plastic. I could probably crush this. And jointing at the shoulders and at the waist, it barely wants to turn. I'm actually surprised that the chest plate there is painted. Very often, it's stickers. That's how cheaply this was done. I'm pretty sure the other one has stickers, the other mecha. Yeah, there's a sticker on the belt, on the leg panels, and on the shins. Those are stickers. The rest of it does appear to be painted. I thought this might be a sticker, but it's not. It's painted. and jointed at the shoulders, and the torso doesn't want to turn. So this one's only jointed at the shoulders. 2 points of articulation. Thanks a lot, Bandai. Well, released by Toei Entertainment, and Toei is a name you're really familiar with if you watch this kind of stuff. Head doesn't turn, shoulders and waist naturally. Toei Entertainment. And this series, the Sheriff Juspion series, was part of their Metal Heroes segments. They had a bunch of shows or a bunch of related programs referred to as Metal Heroes. His belt panel is a sticker. Everything else, I believe, is painted. I don't know why they gave him chaps. I don't remember if the back of his legs were black. I'll have to go back and look. Just hollow, blown plastic. And it's Sato, I believe, that's going to be doing the remake in Brazil. Really happy to have this set. Very rare to find it complete, intact, unplayed with condition like that. Still has the tray, still has the cards. Can't see the other cards because he's in the way. There we go. Cards are still attached up in there. Blow mold is in good shape. Still got the box. The box is in pretty decent condition considering the age. And if you noticed, it is unpunched. It is unpunched. Some wear on the edges. No yellowing on the cellophane windows though, and that's pretty good. Very rare to find these sets in this kind of condition. Are you into this sort of thing? I know there's some people out there that they like the Bandai. They collect SH Figuarts or Tamashii Nations, but do you turn back the clock and look for much older stuff like this? What do you think of these kind of figures? Do you collect these? Is this something that you're interested in? Do you have a set like this? Do you have a set of these even, or something like it? Tell me about it in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear about it. I'll tell you what, also, if you come across a set like this, and it's a pretty reasonable price, you may want to go for it. You may want to go for it. You just don't find them in this condition. Not anymore. Not very many were made, and they were made so cheaply that they just did not stand up to the ravages of time. So please go ahead and post your thoughts in the comments section down below. I'd like to hear what you think of these and what you think of this area of collecting in general. Give the video a thumbs up if you got something out of it. I hope you did. Share it if you can. Subscribe if you're new. And check out some of our other videos. We've got a lot going on this channel, and the more of you there are, the more that we can do here. And by the way, find us on Instagram, Open by Chance. So thanks for watching, and we will see you again soon.
若さだもんな心の炎が眩しいもんな